Welcome back, class. So far, we have looked at prenatal development. We have went over teratogens that are harmful to the babies while they're in the mother's womb. We have also looked at the birthing process, which was very interesting. And the last thing that we are going to really focus on is assessing the newborn after it's born and focusing on post birth care. So assessing the newborn, as soon as the newborn, just almost as soon as the baby comes out of the mother's womb and is born, is placed on the mother's chest, and then the doctors and nurses go about assessing the newborn. Hint, 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 hint. This is going to be on your quiz. So how they assess the newborn is they use something called the ABGAR score. And it is something that is done to understand and really assess the health of newborns. Usually occurs between 1 and 5 minutes after birth. There are various things that occur that are assessed based on how the newborn is doing almost immediately after birth. The assessment includes the heart rate, the ability to breathe on their own, body color are just a few things that are evaluated when the child is freshly and newly born. On each of those health signs, talked about respiratory effort, we talked about color, we talked about reflexibility. The obstetrician or the nurse is going to give a score of 0, 1, or 2 for each of those categories, for each of those 5 categories. And based on the number the number given for each of those categories and the addition of adding all of those scores up, the highest numbers you can get is a 10, and anything and a 0 is obviously the lowest. And so let's talk about the different categories and what those numbers mean. So when we talk about the total score, like I said, each of those 5 health conditions, you can get a score of 0, 1, or 2. If all of those points add up to a score of about from 7 to 10, that means that the baby is in good condition. And usually after that, then the child is able to go back to the mother, and the mother, is immediately able to breastfeed or hold the child. And, the father or whoever else is there, the family members are also there or other moms or other fathers are there to hold the newborn and bond. If the ABGAR score is a 5, that means that there could be some possible developmental difficulties, and it also means that the nurses and doctors have to do another set of evaluations to understand what is really going on with the child. A score of 3 or below, that means that the child is not doing well. The child may not survive. And so they may have to take the child to NICU. They may have to perform a procedure right then and there until they get the child to the NICU. So the ABGAR score is very important in assessing the newborn's health after the newborn has been born. So we also there may be other issues that come about after a child is born. A child may have come early, or they may also be underweight. So there are 3 main issues that cause threats to newborns. The first is low birth weight. The second is having a preterm delivery, so being born before your due date. And we talked about the age of viability being about 6 months, 22 to 25 weeks after conception. If a baby is born before that, the child may have a lot of health issues. Even if a child is born at the age of viability, they still may have some health issues. And newborns can also be small for date. So there are various weight categories. So we're going to go into all of those. The first where we're going to talk about is low birth weight. Anytime that a child weighs less than 5.5 pounds, no matter when they were born, then that is considered them having a low birth weight. A very low birth weight means that the child weighed underneath 3.5 pounds. An extremely low birth weight, again, you want to have at least more than 5.5 pounds is good. But if you are extremely low birth weight, that means you weigh under 2 pounds. That means you are going to have some health issues initially. Preterm infant. This is very important. That means that the infant was born 3 or more weeks before the pregnancy has reached its full term. And again, full term pregnancy is anywhere from 38 to 40 weeks. 38 to 40 weeks is considered full term. But if the child is born 3 weeks or more prior to that full term, then the infant is deemed as preterm. There are interventions that help preterm and small for date infants. When we talk about small for date infants, that means that they may be born at 8. They may be born full term, but that is, you need to be around 6 pounds in order for you to be a healthy birth rate. Because they were born at full term, 38 to 40 weeks, they should be about 6 pounds. Anything less than that means that they're going to be small for date. You get the low birth weight, the extremely low birth weight. That's where that comes from. So small for date infants means that their birth weight is not average for the time that they were born in regards to how far along the mother was. There are 2 interventions that really help with preterm and small for date infants. And this is focusing more on the nurture side. When we talk about nature versus nurture, this is more on the nurture side. So for the nurture side, we talk about kangaroo care. And kangaroo care is what's pictured here. What happens is that the child is going to lay directly on the chest of the mother or the father, or this also happens in NICUs. We have volunteers that do the kangaroo method with the newborn. And this method really helps to regulate the child's breathing. And that in turn, that on the flip side helps the child to gain weight, because if they're able to regulate their body temperature, that means that they will be able to also regulate their weight as well. That is a bodily function. And of course, the child will be eating during while they're in the NICU, so they'll be able to hold on to the weight, because that kangaroo touch, that kangaroo care helps to regulate their bodily functions, not only when they're on the chest of someone, but also when they are when they are in an incubator. Another intervention is massage therapy. Massage therapy is becoming more and more popular. You just massage the arms and the legs and the stomach, wherever you feel comfortable massaging the child, and that helps again to circulate the blood, and circulate the bodily functions. And again, that just gives the child a little extra boost and encourages the body to function properly on its own. So after the child is born, you take the baby home from, if you had a hospital or a birthing center birth, you would take the child home. And then we enter into the postpartum period. Postpartum period usually is around 6 weeks after childbirth, and it even may last up until the mother's body has completely adjusted. So when we talk about postpartum period is really a time for adjustment. Not only does childbearing take a toll on the physical side, on the physical body of the mother, but it also takes a toll on the mother psychologically. So this postpartum period is the time where a mother adjusts. A great part about the postpartum period is the bonding. And not only can moms bond with the child, the grandparents, the fathers, the siblings, whoever is going to be in the child's life, the postpartum period is a great time where that emotional connection can be made through, feeding, through touch, rocking the baby to sleep. All of those things encourage the emotional connection between parents, caregivers, siblings, and the baby. Okay, everyone, that is a wrap for chapter 3. I'm so excited that I was able to bring you all along the birthing process, and I look forward to reading your papers about the PBS documentary. I'll see you all on the next video.